Hey everybody. Well, it's late morning and I just got in a little while ago. I'm sitting here in my living room drinking my coffee and thinking, you know, the skies just ain't dark enough here in town to be doing any serious visual work. So it occurred to me that, well, if the skies ain't dark enough at home, why not bring home where the skies are dark?
Welcome to my new home on the range and Dakota Starry Nights. Strap yourselves in.
Let's head over to the shop and check out the pros and cons of CCD versus CMOS Astrocams. There is a difference, fellas, and you might want to kind of check this one out to get a better understanding on how these things operate.
We can literally spend days just discussing the differences between these and the pros and cons, but I'm going to cut to the chase. The big difference between a CCD and a CMOS sensor is how they read out the data. Now, in a CCD sensor, in this camera, the data or photoelectrode is handed over from one pixel or bucket to the next, one by one, as shown here in this sketch, out to the corner of the chip where it's measured by a couple of onboard transistors. Now, since all the pixels are measured by the exact same electronics, CCD cameras can be made very consistent and accurate. Hence, they continue to use these for scientific research. Now, over here on the CMOS sensor that we have here in this Cellphone, there is a transistor at every single pixel instead of a couple measuring transistors found on board the typical CCD. There could be literally millions on a CMOS sensor. What are the pros and cons to all of this? Now, CMOS sensors found in this camera and this camera are capable of a faster readout, producing fast video capture necessary for planetary imaging. For the money spent, I must say that CMOS sensors have a higher sensitivity or quantum efficiency. And overall, the costs of a CMOS camera are lower than a CCD cam of this type.
All right, and that brings us to the Cellphone. This Cellphone comes with a video and still app. That's standard. There is no additional downloads, and this is an Android phone.
So you might be wondering, well, why the explanation of CCD versus CMOS? The reason for that is that this phone, like all phones, use a CMOS sensor. Without the CMOS sensor, you wouldn't have this option right here, video. You need that fast speed readout in order to shoot video. And that is useful for planetary imaging and also useful for doing real-time video through an eyepiece, afocal photography. What's great about this app on this phone, for doing afocal photography, that is using this phone up against an eyepiece, with this model you want to come over to more, and then they show you different ways of capturing. So we go to Pro Video, and here's where the magic is. So now you're looking at the selection. You want to go to manual focus, and usually it's all the way over here. You just drag it over there, but you'll see it. You know, you just slide it around until the object comes into focus, and then you're good. And then you go back with here. And then here you set your white balance. I usually leave that as auto. It seems to work pretty good. And here your shutter speed. And so now when you're looking at the object, you're going to just drag this around like that. It slows it down and speeds it up. And that allows you to get your shutter speed just right. Then over here you have the ISO setting, and 3200 is where it maxes out. And you can drop that down all the way down to 50. So that allows you to set this up just right in order to do your afocal photography. Now, if you have an app on your phone that can do that, give it a whirl. It might work. But the main takeaway here, folks, is that you have manual control over your video, shutter speed, ISO, and focus. So tonight we'll be doing some captures of Saturn and the moon, plus some deep sky objects with night vision, PBS 14, to give you a better idea on how this phone performs under those conditions.
Tonight, fellas, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at the sky in a 5-degree field of view on DSOs. We're going to take in the whole enchilada, the side dish, and the beer, and bring it all into one field of view. So we're going to be using night vision, and I've got this smartphone here. Or I don't know if anybody calls them smartphones anymore, but because everybody's got one of these now, so there's no distinguishing them. Anyway, I've got this phone that really does very well recording the night vision through the eyepiece, and we'll be seeing it in real time with the scintillation and the whole thing. What you're going to see tonight is what you would see if you were out here in this beautiful open country here. I'm really excited to be here today with you and sharing this, so we'll wait for the sun goes down and then we'll see you in a bit. Well, welcome back. It's dark now. we've got a moon that's about at first quarter, and we have, I believe Saturn is up too, so I thought before we jump into some night vision, we'd head over to the moon and Saturn and check that out. Alright, by the way, this is a Skywatcher AZEQ5 Pro, so let's head over to the moon. And you know, the moon is a target that a lot of us just kind of like blow off, you know. If you're into imaging and stuff, you say, oh, that's just a moon, but actually it's pretty cool. And if you live in the city or in town, no matter where you are, you can, you know, take a good look at it and get some night sky observation. So let's see what we got. Okay. By the way, I'm here with the Black Hills Astronomical Society tonight. We've got a member star party out here, and this is our Three Amigo dark site. And so you might be hearing some other voices and stuff in the video. We've got some folks set up over there. So let's check out the moon. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I got a 17 millimeter Delos in this focuser here. Oh yeah, looking pretty good. I'm going to see if I can't video record it for you. Okay, so here we've got the moon through this refractor. Now, this phone has a manual setting, and I'll share the settings. I have ISO 3200, shutter speed 1/4000th of a second. It's exposure value compensation minus 0.7, and the focus is manual. And I'll tell you, for a cell phone, that is not too shabby. Wow. Very useful for this kind of thing. This is handheld. You're trying to get that imaging circle just right. Right about there, I suppose, is about as best as it's going to get. Pretty cool. So that's about first quarter. And let's head over to Saturn. We'll see what we can get out of that. Okay, so we'll head over to Saturn. So we've got Saturn right there. So let's see if we can get that shutter speed a little bit. There you go, that's better. Yeah, that's a little better. It was a little too overexposed. Okay, so there you go. So now the shutter speed is 1/500th of a second, and ISO is 3200. It's manual focus. The white balance is 32K. I will definitely take that. That's not too shabby. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Now this is at 90 power through that 80 millimeter refractor running at 545 focal length. And that's what you can do with it. Yeah, cool. Alright, so let's move on to our other targets of the night, these wide field views and night vision. Okay, so we're slewing over to NGC 7000, the North American Nebula in Cygnus, and we're going to see what this looks like with a 5-degree field of view and this PBS 14 binocular, and we have a 55 millimeter Plasso right here. So this ought to be interesting. I've never seen it through this platform before, so this is going to be a first for me too, guys. So kind of looking forward to it. We should be able to get the Pelican Nebula as well, so here's hoping. Okay, so there it is, and you could see oh, look at that, a satellite going right through it. Wow, how cool is that, fellas? Wow, that's proof right there. This is real-time video. We have scintillation going on, and that's an artifact of the PBS 14, the photons, light photons accelerating and kind of like sparking off. We have a moon right now, so we're competing with the moon in terms of it. There is a narrowband filter on the end of this 55 millimeter Plasso. That's about a 5-degree field of view you see there. Right there in the center is the Cygnus wall. You can see it.
That's the extraordinary power of the PVS-14. All right.
Okay, so with that, we'll head on over to NGC, let's see, 6888, the Crescent Nebula in Cygnus. That's right next door to where we're at. Typically, that's not a visual target, especially with an 80 millimeter refractor, but with night vision, we're able to pull that off. So we'll let it go around. And once again, pretty close. Didn't have to go very far. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's there. And we could see part of IC 1318, well, at least the nebulosity around Cedar, because it's pretty close to Cedar. But anyway, check it out. So there it is there, just a little bit below center, and in the upper above it you can see some nebulosity from the Cedar region, which is where we'll be heading next for the Butterfly Nebula IC 1318b. And once again, the sparkly stuff you see there is scintillation caused by the night vision. It's amazing you can see that much, really. ISO is set at 3200, shutter speed 130, and manual focus. White balance is at A25K. Alright, so right next to the Crescent is IC 1318b, the Butterfly Nebula, and the bright star you see in the center is Cedar. It's at the center of Cygnus, or what some refer to as the Northern Cross. And what's cool about this short focal length setup here is you could see the whole butterfly. You can really get appreciation for the extent of it and why they call it that. As if you use the longer focal lengths, the Schmidt-Cassegrains, or even focal length of 1,000 millimeters or so, you don't really get the whole view like you do with the short focal length. So this is where this focal length really shines for a target like this. Okay guys, with that we're going to go to M8, the Lagoon Nebula in Sagittarius. We've got an aurora borealis that's cooking over in the north. Oh man, how cool is that? Oh wait, whoa, stop everything here. Guys, I'm gonna have to run and get my GoPro and set up a time lapse, man. Wow, check it out. All right, I'll be right back, man. I'll be right back. All right, I've got that time lapse cooking, and I'll lay it into the video here so you can see it. Wow, it is amazing. Wow. Oh, wow. You know, that's the thing about coming out to these places. The more you come out, the more you have the chance of encountering these things. All right, well, let's move on to, what did I say? Well, let's go to M8. So, okay, we'll escape, object. Let's see. Well, we'll just go to Messier catalog, M8, and enter. So that'd be behind us here in Sagittarius. The Milky Way is out right now. It's looking pretty good. View object, and there she goes. All right, cool. So you can see Sagittarius right there. The three stars that make up the bow, and then the star that's the leading star, that's the arrow. Yeah, it's a pretty spectacular constellation. Okay, let's see what we get here. Turn. Oh yeah, it's on it. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I mean, for 80 millimeter frac, you could see the trifid, you could see the dark nebulosity that splits it up. Okay, let's see what we can come up with. Alright, let's film it. Check it out. There you go. Okay, so if you look at the upper left, you'll see the trifid, and the lower right, you'll see the lagoon. And it looks a little fuzzy because I think we're just pretty low right now. If we were more on the zenith, you know, it would be more over in that direction. And so it's pretty much getting to the point to where it's setting. So that's why it's so, you know, we're looking through the soup, in other words. Because I've seen it clearer than that, but that atmosphere is really kind of dulling it out. But hey, you know, for an 80 millimeter frac, it's not bad at all, really. Alright, well, we're going to do one more, and that's going to be the Pac-Man Nebula. It's in CAS NGC 281. So, let's grab that guy. Enter. These are some of the brightest objects in Cassiopeia. A lot of guys image these objects. Oh, there it is. Pretty cool. Wow. Yeah. There you go. Check it out. Yeah, man, I tell you, this phone works pretty good with this. I'm pretty pleased with it. My trusty Canon G12, you guys, if you've subscribed to the channel, you've seen I've done a lot of afocal stuff with that, and it died on me. And of course they don't make them anymore, they haven't in quite a while. But anyway, so here we are with the Pac-Man Nebula in real time. Alright, fellas, that'll do it for this tour of the night sky, and it was a lot of fun being out here sharing this with y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. Get out under the night skies, no matter where you're at. You're always going to learn something or see something new. The more you're out under the dark skies, the more you're going to see, because you increase your chances of seeing those rarities. Thanks for tuning in to the channel, and y'all stay safe. We'll see you next time around.
Home on the range, where the deer and the Dobsonian scopes play, where seldom is seen a discouraging light, and the skies are clear.